on. No, I was trying to look for something in Unity that was like Twine sort of based.
Okay.
Good old Twine.
RenP sort of does like a script sort of thing where you can just write down the character name and what model pose they're using, and then have the dialogue. But that's kind of limited. It doesn't really allow for a lot of fancy stuff without programming it that right in. But for all the basic stuff, you can just basically write down a script, and it'll automatically
you'd have to
turn
basically individually make each sort of scene animation if you want them to do something in between just saying lines at each other.
I think there's Tyranno Builder also does that similarly.
Okay, maybe I'll look into see how they're implemented.
Looks like captions are working. Gonna move those over. Okay.
Watch now with 8 viewers. Come on, you know what you want to watch now with 8 viewers.
Watch now, supplies last.
But wait, there's more!
If we keep doing this, it'll always keep being more.
Oh, and doesn't look like the Twitter notice is up yet.
I've just put it up.
Oh, well, that would be why.
There we go.
Yeah. Do I need to change my Twitter account or something literally just so I can be in this?
I can never remember what yours is.
What is your Twitter at, anyway?
Night Scoots.
Night
Scoots?
Night Scoots.
Huh.
Scoot over, boys. It's night.
I wanted to do I was trying to do a streamer persona thing. I was going to use the name Looter Scooter, and then like my personal 80 account would be Night Scoots.
Oh.
Found you.
Nice.
Okay, so
Let's see how this.
what are we playing tonight?
Oh,
Okay.
we're going around. We're going to a pop. We're going to a furry theater.
Same thing we play every night, Pinky. Anyway.
Something about being left behind, something about acting, and we have 2 journal entries we haven't read yet.
Oh, let me hold on 1 second.
No, Jonas. The time has passed. Okay, so we know it's not Alone because we've seen that one a couple of times.
Yeah, but what was it, Like Me?
I mean, it might have been. Skip memory.
And then
Can't try
Ilgrad
for
grabbed me by the
anyone.
neck, and I heard this.
No.
Don't treat me like a child. The Long Silence.
It's Jacobo has just subscribed for 3 months.
Hell yeah.
Hey, thank you.
Maybe it was
Thanks,
the one
Frankie.
where she was. Maybe it was the one where she was writing in her diary about like, is Adder ever going to come back? Is this what he feels like when I'm not around?
The proposal and break free are still written in red.
Yeah, we haven't actually read the text on
Proposal.
them.
Dear Diary, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I might be a little too tipsy right now to write properly. Why'd Elver have to go and be nice? Gods, I didn't want to choose anything. I don't want to think anymore.
You look distant today, babe. Is something the matter?
Oh, acting.
Desert Rose was an exceedingly
There we go.
successful business, usually hidden away on their own little corner of Heartache District. However, they were known for occasionally holding charity events for the good of the city. Brief glimpses of the wonders that the Desert Rose kept locked behind walls, shared with the poor citizens who would never get to see such beauties in their entire lives otherwise. Did I say charity? My bad, I meant promotion. The stage was set in the middle of the bazaar for the dancers, and the expectation was immense even hours before the show started. The plaza was filled to the brim with excited deer, curious does, a couple of boar gazelles, and a few intrigued ibexes blocking everyone's view with their huge horns.
Rude.
But the owner of this memory wasn't basking in the love of the crowd that secretly sighed for her. No, we'd have to sneak into the dressing room to find her.
Yeah, I'm down for
Not
that.
like that.
Just
Oh,
say,
damn it.
How much longer do you need to get dressed? Miss Rochelle told me to drag you out by the horns if you're not ready by the next dance. Oh, don't
Some
rush
wench.
me. You know how much the public means to me. My dance has to be so great they will never forget my face or my body. I'm still
No worries there.
absolutely not.
I'm
not. Oh, don't rush me. You know how much the public means to me. My dance has to be so great they will never forget my face or my body. I'm still trying to decide where I want them to look today, so why don't you go and get the embers ready for me? I'll be out in a minute.
Absolutely not! I'm not your errand girl. That's what we have the stagehands for.
Well, someone needs to warn the stagehands that I'm on my way, right? Do you expect me to come out unannounced and stand on the spotlight smiling at the crowd while I wait for the servants to fetch me my torches?
I'm going to be the one to answer in front of Miss Rochelle if you play me a second time.
If I, what? Sorry? Play you? Wow, you really have a high opinion of me, don't you? Fine then. I swear by the three that I'm going to leave in a minute. There. Did that sound like a lie? No.
Seth gave her a fake. Did I miss that?
If I, what?
Yeah, you hit it a little soon.
If
Then
I,
go
what?
before I tell Mr.
Sorry.
Shelley you've been like. Seth gave her the fakest smile she could make until the dough backpedaled away.
Wish we knew that doe's name.
Some wench.
She was alone at
Turns out that
last.
is actually her name.
She was alone at last, free to focus on her plan. A plan that had taken weeks of preparation, cavillation, and study merely to find a suitable chance to carry it out. But the day had finally arrived. Now the moment came too.
Rivets, rivets, buy your rivets here.
A jingling orange blur dashed out of the tent before the other dancer had a chance to react.
Wait, Joseph! Where are you going? The stage is this... Oh, not again.
Rivets for your shields, rivets for your pants. Make your life more riveting.
Hey.
Slipping a boiled onion, aren't I? Ain't no way she's gonna find me like...
And then she tackles him.
That's my... Whoa! Hi. Hey, you called, ma'am?
Gods! Do you know how long you've had me waiting? How can a gangly, one-eyed yellow deer be this hard to find?
I'm sorry, ma'am. If I'd known you were looking for me, I would have hollered a little louder. You, need some good old riveting. Some good old rivets, I mean.
It was there all. Oh.
Very funny, but I don't have time for your jokes right now.
My rivets ain't no joke, ma'am.
I
They're
know
for
it.
real cast steel rivets made and smuggled out of my boss's forge. Guaranteed return if... hey, you all right there?
You're not riveting any jokes, ma'am.
Adder, it's me. Don't you remember me?
Ha! Nice try, Missy, but I know this scam. Next, you'll ask me for the money I borrowed from you 10 years ago, and to that I say,
Seth collapsed to the ground. Her mind was screaming in anger. It wasn't directed at Ada, no. It was directed at herself for letting something so stupid bring tears to her eyes.
Whoa, don't, it's all right. I don't know what's wrong, but there ain't nothing a rivet can't. What do you think you're looking at, huh? It's just a barhan lady for crying out loud. Keep going. Yeah, move along. Nothing to see here. You mind if we take this somewhere a little bit quieter, ma'am? Come on. You can scam me all you want once we get away from these creeps.
Ada wouldn't have dared pat her reassuringly in her state of clothing, so he instead used his arms as sunshades to protect her from gossipers and oglers alike. The ruckus of the bazaar became a mere whisper as they dived deeper into the maze of streets that surrounded the plaza.
Can't believe I let myself do something so undignified.
Nothing wrong with leaving your dignity home every once in a while, ma'am. My ma used to tell me that crying makes your eyes prettier, and yours are a force to reckon with. Not that I'm saying you're a crybaby, you just, you got some nice eyes there.
Eyes! Of course! You're a gaze reader!
Whoa, hold up there! How'd you know that? Did you read my mind? You a gaze-reading scammer?
Of course not! I was the one who taught you that concept. Come here and see it for yourself.
Keep those hands where I can see them, ma'am. You ain't teach me nothing. A fortune-telling Zell I met moons ago in a fair did. She told you, didn't she? You're a Zell, too. You gotta know her.
You can slap him later, you can slap him later, you can slap him later, you can slap him later. I can't know that if you don't specify a little. So tell me about the gazelle. How did she look? She was gorgeous, wasn't she? Did she have any outstanding attributes besides literally everything else?
Well, it ain't like I like to creep on Zells or anything, but if it'll help you recognize her, I reckon she got a real big... Huh? Big horns? Big tail? No, that ain't
Oh my
right.
god.
She looked like a gazelle? What the...
If it ends up being her butt that restores his memory.
Unfortunately, even the magic's whisking that away.
Wow, ma'am. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but I can't remember her looks at all now that I think about it. I don't know. Maybe I just fell for her big personality?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, that don't sound like me at all. No, all right. If you're trying to tell me she's you,
Man,
just gorgeous, don't cut it.
shooting
You're
yourself
so
down.
pretty, you'd make a buck plow through a wall. But that just don't
I
make any
did.
sense. Ain't no way I could forget someone like you.
You could, if it was something beyond your control. I suppose I shouldn't have kept this a secret from you in the first place. Tell me, Adder, do you believe in curses?
Yeah, nah, a little bit. I mean, my patrons always curse me and nothing much has happened yet. Why? You gonna cast a Barhan curse on me if I don't pay up? Don't bother with the evil eye. I already got one of those.
I'm the one who's cursed, you prejudiced idiot. Well, not me, per se. That is, I wasn't cursed personally. It's more like that. How am I even supposed to explain this to someone like you?
Seth began walking in circles, practicing her dance moves as she tried to come up with a way to explain a high-level magic concept to a boy as simple-minded as Aderson, son of Gerfaz.
All curses
I like
work
these
under the
dance
same
moves.
principle, an alteration in your connection to the Hatsa. In normal circumstances, the river would erode your soul when you died and lend it to your next life. But a curse can shake the current, block it, or worse yet, separate you completely from it.
We talking oblivion here?
Seth nodded gravely.
Barhan legends say that
Skyrim, but-
Umagabseb, the last ruler of Bazaksarat, was cursed by Hirub himself for bringing misery to all gazelles. They say he begged the sun for a way to avoid disappearing completely from history, and it must have worked. I wouldn't be here otherwise. Both his methods and the exact clauses of the curse have been lost to time, but the consequences persist. I am an eternal novelty, a gazelle like no one's ever seen before, as history keeps finding contrived ways to erase me from the thoughts of those that meet me.
Well, it don't gotta try too hard with me, ma'am. My brain's got more than its share trying to keep this lanky mess of a body up on its feet. See these hands? I used to be all big and strong, but then I go to bed hungry one night, and another, and I keep starving till I'm 2 meals short of turning into...
A walking pile of bones! I know that, you idiot! I knew that you would forget me, but I wanted to think that you looked so weird that you'd have to be special, that there had to be something different about you. But in the end, you're just a normal deer. I haven't given you permission to forget me, damn it! I wasn't ready to let go of you! You idiot! You miserable excuse for a gaze reader! You liar! You fool! You absolute dumbass! Remember me! I beg you!
Ma'am, I just want to say that this has got to be the finest scam I've ever seen in my life. Great story, great acting, and using mind reading to find out all those details beforehand was a great touch. Mr. Bard would have clapped if he'd seen you.
For the last time, it's not a goddamned...
Right. Don't break character. Good job. You accept donations on rivets?
Joseph! Joseph, where are you? Why do you always do this to me? Do I look like your nanny or something?
Joseph? Ain't that something like Queen and...
Sepp grabbed Ada's face and pulled it towards her. In the darkness of the alley, he saw her eyes glowing mysterious blue.
Come to the beach tonight when the lights are all out. Understood? I swear by Hurub that I will tell all your friends that you're a horn eater if you don't show up.
The beach?
Your favorite place in all of Heirloom. This is my vote of confidence. I'm trusting you.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Man, people get cursed even in your head. Ah!
The curse break free, and we still have these 2 earlier ones, and something about being left behind.
Maxie made a tweet that said, "I'm pretty sure that Sepp is what happens when a Disney princess gets depressed and becomes an adrenaline junkie."
That's what happens when you cut to 5 years after the end of the movie and the happily ever after. It didn't really turn out to be ever after.
Yeah.
Actually, Sepp could be Jasmine, but in a
I
very
thought you'd be hiding something. But no matter how much...
Sepp, sweetie, are you in there? Could you open the window for me? No? That's okay. Don't worry, you don't need to say anything. I know how... No, I don't. I'm not immortal. I can't imagine how hard this must be for you. All I can say is that I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there when it happened. I failed you as much as I failed Thar. You don't believe what Yoff said, right? It was nothing personal. All the evidence pointed to a guy. I had to arrest him, and I think... Look, Sepp, I don't want this to sound like I'm putting the blame on you in any way, but I have reasons to believe he might have...
He found out.
I see. That's... I don't know what to say. Sepp, after all that's happened, I don't think it'd be wise for me to spend any more time around your family. I'm afraid I'm not welcome here anymore. So, we have to say our goodbye for now, little pumpkin. Curses don't have any effect on an old tree like me, so know that wherever you go and whatever you do, I'll be cheering you on from afar. You have a friend in me always, Sepp. A loyal ally for the Jasif.
Sepp's ears perked up upon hearing that name. She read it over and over. She'd heard it in countless stories from her mother. But by the time she mustered the courage needed to open that window, Ilgrab was gone.
Something caused by a goodbye.
Sun was beginning to set far in the distance. Hirub's statue cast a long shadow over the city that no longer paid any heed to one of its great gods. Sepp waited under the shade of the black marble statue, eyes glimmering in unnatural blue against the red hues that surrounded her. Her horns were still short, but her expression was that of an adult. The fumes coming from the offertories drew bizarre forms in the air, as if inhaled by Hirub himself. All under the intense glare of the 2 purple eyes in a sea of white.
Where's your father, Aina?
Anna's ears perked up upon hearing her name. She stood frozen for a couple seconds and dashed off towards the temple, exchanging her presents for the merchants.
Don't waste your breath praying, daughter of Thor. Your mother can't hear you, and a statue can't reply. Well, what did you make me come all the way out here for?
I've come looking for your knowledge, Tespertog. Illigrave said that you could train me.
Illigrave lied, as usual.
No, he didn't. He said that you too are cursed. That your daughter is as immortal, if not more so, than you are. And that you still dabble in the ancient art of Sephihet, looking for the way to cure her. I want you to do the same for me.
And why would I do that? Aina didn't deserve what happened to her, but that full Omega Sepp did. He deserved every last second of his punishment for bringing ruin upon all of Barhankind.
Even if that were true, how was any of what he did my fault? What have I done to deserve his fate? Do dear ask about my ancestors before looking down on me? Don't I live by the same unfair rules as the rest of the Barhan and Akazor?
Merchant caressed his beard as he pondered her words.
You are every bit as convincing as the last Jasif was. All right, then. If you really want to become my apprentice, you must forget everything you hold dear. I will take you as my own child and give you whatever name I see fit. You will start anew, free to follow any path you seek.
What? No! I don't want to forget! I can't forget! How will I know what I have to do if you take that from me?
Like you ever knew to begin with! You were just a puppet, the protagonist in someone else's show! And now that your threads are breaking, Illigrab wants me to fix you! But I won't! I told him 1,000 times I don't care about gods and kings anymore! And neither should you. Come now. The temple is huge, and Aina could use the company.
Do you seriously expect me to believe that you will set me free if I let you steal my memories? That you won't use me? Do you think I'm an idiot?
No, I think you're a child.
I am Jasif. I was sired by the sun itself to reign over the world. You are nothing more than a servant to my biddings.
A lonely child is what you are.
I am Jasif, and you will kneel before me!
Merchant's knees wavered under the power of a voice that only barely began to resemble an adult's. The old man could only hold onto his cane to avoid falling onto his face as his legs caved in. Sep stood proudly over the wizard that was watching with awe the reach of a power she didn't yet understand, but she couldn't enjoy her victory for long. A low growling sound and 2 purple gleams in the darkness beneath Kirib's statue distracted her for a moment. The last rays of sunlight reflected against 2 rows of pearly daggers poised to sink into her flesh and bone. The sight froze Sep's blood long enough for the merchant to recover his composure and lunge towards her, swinging his cane like a madman.
How dare you talk to your eldest like that, you spoiled rapscallion!
Pertok's voice was so powerful that Sep collapsed to her knees, but she wasn't his target. Behind him, a shadow seemed to dissolve into the ground, whacked away by the long end of the cane.
What was that? How did you...
Like I never tell you! Damn, kids. It's always the same. You think that you're better than the rest just because you're a little talented. Practice! Practice is the secret to every skill, and I've had 400 years to practice! I was cursed to live as the only man standing between you and the fate Hero cast upon your kin. And yet you dare force my hand as my power grows too weak to protect you. Thank your luck the moon was not watching tonight, or else we'd both be lying in a pool of your blood.
My blood?
What's any of that supposed to mean? I don't understand.
You only need to understand this, insolent child. I will not train you. Not today, not in 1,000 years. If there's a barhand fated to watch a new sunrise over Basaxarat, it won't be you. Not while I live.
I don't care what you, or the gods, or anyone wants. I will become Jasif, one way or another.
You can't become Jasif. Don't you feel the flames burning inside you? You were Jasif 1,000 years before you were born. The sun will scorch this land till the moon says the opposite.
Shiver went down the merchant's spine, shaking him from his beard to his bald tail. He stood still for a moment, looking in Sep's direction.
So, that's how it is, huh? To think I'd seal my own fate over a stupid fawn's tantrum.
Who are you talking to?
That doesn't matter. I've said far too much. It's dusk now. You're feeling very tired. Go back home and wake up in your own bed, far from plots and divine missions. Live a life led by your own choices, daughter of Thor.
Yes, sir.
And you there, pray that I don't find who you are.
Oh shit, he saw us.
Yes, he saw us.
Y'all's not 11. What in the name of oblivion was that just now? Ain't no way the patron would know I'm watching this, right, Sep? Right? Sep? Never mind. I'm getting the hang out of here.
Ader will always be scared of Merchant now.
Revisit Sep's greatest fault.
I think I know what happened. You have to go to the door.
So, are there any entries left to fill in on this?
The door.
Just the last one.
All right.
Says, revisit
We should
Sep's
probably.
greatest fault.
Yeah. Do you think we should read the journal entries before we do it, though?
Okay.
I'm just curious what they say.
The curse. How are you? It's been a while. I'm sorry for not writing anything these past few weeks. To be honest, I wouldn't be able to tell you about them if I tried now. Wine and hurt numbed them into a shameful blur, and I'd like them to stay that way. Ral informed me a few days ago that she's done waiting and has already started preparing my next show. That's the only point of reference for the passage of time I've had lately. Today she opened the window in my room and had some servants clean up the place while she dragged me out to take my first bath, and longer than I care to admit. On the way there, she brought a letter from Talid expressing his regret for having been too occupied with his job to have a chance to visit me this Monsoon. For the 3rd year in a row. Not that any of it mattered, of course. I put the letter away once I finished reading, closed my eyes, and just let all the air out in a sigh as they sank into the deep end of the pool. I didn't have to share the bath with anyone today, and that's a small blessing, I thanked with all my heart. Every little thought flowed out of my mind as I sank all the way to the bottom, diary. And there I sat, as I had many times before in the past, waiting for something. For the lack of air to urge me to the surface, desperate to breathe. First, I panicked to send me bolting out of the pool, afraid of what awaited beyond those last few seconds, but none of that happened. I looked up, confused, wondering if I had somehow dreamt my way out of the bath, but what I found was the water waiting above me, completely still, so still that it seemed an amazingly lifelike painting. What? I said. I knew I could not have said it, because not even just the Jasif can speak underwater. I sprung to my feet, swimming in air, and as I stepped out of the pool, I saw it. Castle in the background, Ader standing next to me. I don't mind sinking as long as you float. Those were his words. That was his promise, his declaration of intentions to me weeks ago. A responsibility I gladly decided to foist on him, like falling to the darkest depths that was my right and my natural state of being. A sentence he would have to share for daring to offer me a helping hand to drag me out of my misery. I sank back into the sea and out of the pool, gasping for air, my lungs burning like never before as they tried to expel all the water that had leaked into them. I could hear the echo of my desperate thoughts, and my desperate coughs all over the room for what felt like hours. And yet, no matter how much I cried in my little corner, I was still alone. No one knew how close I was to succeeding this time. No one could have saved me. I had to float on my own. After an eternity of trying to stay out of my mind, it's finally dark out. A moonless night, as unsettling as the rest of the day had been. No, Ral didn't say a single word about the show I missed this morning. She didn't even look at me in the face when I was practically dragged back to her. I know she knows, and I have no doubt that she will try to stop me again. She will try. Everyone must be asleep or busy now, so I have no more time to waste. Goodbye, diary. I hope we never have to speak again. Ilograb came home today. I didn't want to see him. He didn't need to say he was leaving forever. He should have just left like everyone else. But he called me Jasif. I think he really wanted me to hear that. Dear Diary, I looked into you hoping to see something about last night. I thought that I would have had at least spared a few moments to write a line about what happened, or what I hoped to achieve in visiting the merchant. Now I feel like someone else had come up with a plan or whatever that was for me. I read back at the last few weeks and see how angry I was, but I feel like all of it happened to someone else. There's nothing left now. There's no one left now. There's me, I guess.
All right.
Don't open that door.
Mom? Mom?
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Once more, Ader felt his mind being desperately dragged away from this memory as much as he tried to see what lay beyond the door. Smell of blood and smoke went to his skin as everything went dark.
Isn't...
Past Ader, sitting on the beach all alone as he watched the palace. As soon as he saw this, Ader knew what the ensuing memory would be. Felt compelled to walk away, to pretend he hadn't stumbled upon this. But there came Sep, awkwardly dragging her hooves through the sand as she made her way towards a past projection of himself.
Enjoying the view?
Ader jumped to his feet as Sep's face appeared on the monolateral field of vision.
Well, hello, does and stags. It's the magic scammer at last. What took you so long, ma'am? Now I was starting to worry I'd have to go back home unstabbed.
I'm not a
I hate when that happens.
Stabber. Why would I bring a knife here?
let's see. The prettiest gazelle I've ever seen in my life asking a half-made, one-eyed chump to meet her alone in the dark on a deserted beach? Either you brought a knife or you brought a fork, ma'am.
Precisely. If anyone's bound to carry a knife between us, that'd be you, slum dweller.
Ha! I knew you were lying through your teeth. If you knew me so well as you say you do, you'd know the chances of me carrying a shank are -0. I'm dead scared of pointy things.
Oh, I'm sorry. The list is so long that it's hard to keep track of your fears sometimes.
You call me a coward now? Well, yeehaw my melt and call me a biscuit. I can't believe this. I've come here to be robbed, not insulted, Missy. This buck's headed home if you're gonna get all pissy.
Adder, wait. Don't leave. I'm at my wit's end here. Please, look at me. I know we haven't known each other long, but it was really fun. I've grown really fond of you. So, please, tell me that you know my face, my horns, my ears, my anything.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but I couldn't tell a fir from a palm tree in this light. You mind if I step a little closer?
Sep nodded hesitantly. Gator got up slowly, dusted off his pants, and let his hands fall on his hips. Pulled his head closer, his expression contorted into one of extreme concentration.
Now that you say it, you do look kind of familiar, yeah. What'd you say your name was again?
I'm Deceive, because I said Deceive, right? Who did I say I was?
And then he kissed her.
A queen don't need no introduction, you dumbass.
The slap Gator got wasn't at all undeserved.
You dissolute reprobate! You witless waste of Barhan blood! How long have you known?
Only since that other doe called out your name. When she yelled, Yasif! I looked at her, and then I looked at you, and something in my mind went boom! And my brain just sort of knocked on my skull like, Adder, you dingus, that's your gal right there!
Of course! I hadn't taken previous third-party interactions into account. You met Nahira before with me specifically, in a very similar situation. We shared enough memories for your mind to find that extremely odd. A deja vu.
Bless you.
Don't you get it? The curse works so that you don't realize you know me unless you know that I exist. And what better way is there to prove my existence than having someone whose existence you acknowledge to find my person in a word?
You're gonna have to explain that to me at least 20 times, Sep.
And me.
Gator grabbed the gazelle by her waist and began spinning her around. They turned and turned until they ended up dizzy and laughing in the sand. The two kissed and whispered and said 1,000 meaningless things, and when the rush began wearing off, they watched the sea quietly.
Even after all that, I'm still not very sure of how you could remember anything before tonight. Most people just forget they met me entirely if they don't see me for a few days, even if we meet again. You, however, could recall everything after weeks. Have you spent a long time around ghosts or gods or, cursed people in general? Your eye seems used to seeing things that shouldn't be there.
I don't know, and I don't care. My eyes just happy to see the things that are here right now.
Your eye? Of course. We'll go with that.
Hey, don't get ugly now. I was worried sick. Thought something for real bad would have happened to you. Like maybe Miss Rochelle locked you up and I'd have to save you or you'd been sent away. But then I saw the guard and I thought, piece of cake. I'll just have to find a way to sneak in tomorrow. Next I knew, I'd been crying for days, and I didn't even know who I was crying for. I tried looking in every corner of the city because I forgot the girl I was looking for. I missed you so much.
It's okay. I really... Well, it doesn't matter. It's over now. We won't have to stay away from each other ever again.
Hold up! Don't tell me you went and ran away from home or something just to be with me.
It's not just that, of course. There's far too much happening right now in my life. Elbar has been pulling me to one side, Raoul to the other, and I don't know. I felt like I was about to break, and I didn't think I could handle it anymore. Not without you by my side, at least.
So what do we do now? You want to come with me to the slums? Mr. Bart will twist my neck like a rag when he sees you, but I'm sure you two will hit it off great. Now, I can teach you how to avoid a knife fight, what fountains got clean water, the tastiest moss, and... You didn't think this through, did you?
You are precisely the last person in the world I wanted to hear that from. But no, I had a feeling that I would never have another chance to have you by my side if I didn't come here tonight. And I'm not very used to having feelings in general. It felt important. Fortunately for all of us, I seem to be frankly terrible at burning bridges.
Except produce a rose-shaped key out of her shirt.
If I go back to my life before Ralph forgets me, we won't be able to see each other again. The curse will run its course. You'll forget me once more, and well, I'll be forced to remember you no matter what.
I don't want to forget you ever again, and much less see you cry, because I'm not thick-skulled enough to snap out it on my own. But it ain't like it's hopeless, right? You see, guy sort of managed to break the curse, and I'm sure he wasn't half as smart as you are. You'll figure something out.
It's not like I don't have my own theories on how to break it. I mean, there is one deer who has been avoiding the curse for 2 decades. He keeps coming back no matter how much I tell him to go jump off a goddamned... Whatever. That's not relevant. Moving on. I think I know the reason why he's unable to forget me, but I don't think it's a good idea to replicate the experiment. You'd hate me for it.
Look at me, Sep. I don't know what an experiment is, but if I ain't begun hating you for all the ugly stuff you done to me, I won't begin anytime soon. I don't want to risk forgetting you ever again, okay? Whatever it is you gotta do, just...
She's already
what
done.
the hell are you doing, Sep?
Taking precautions. Come now, don't just stand there. Take off your clothes too and get in the water with me. It should be safer like this.
I think you got that backwards, ma'am, but, if you miss me that much...
Sep's tail floated behind her like a fluffy bait specifically designed to lure Ader into the water.
Yes.
She walked towards the depths until the waves reached her shoulders, ensuring that they were far enough from both any onlookers on the shore and the merchant ships on the sea. Two stood awkwardly against each other, Gazelle and Buck naked. This much was far from a shocking development, but the water was pretty cold, and the exhibitionism wasn't precisely Ader's forte, so he felt like apologizing a few times, and then digging a hole for himself. Sep wouldn't just let him curse his own luck, however. It was the Gazelle who bridged the gap between them, bringing Ader closer to her until the curve of her horns was touching his jaw and her forehead was resting on his chest. Ader surrounded her whole body with one hand, surprised by her uncharacteristic display of affection.
Do you love me, Adder? I mean, do you really love me? Can you love me even though I'm a gazelle?
Come on, Sep. What sort of question is that? Of course I love you. I'm going to say it as many times as you got to hear it. I love your horns, I love your tail, I love those stripes on your face and your friggin' dumb smile and all the things I shouldn't be saying, but you know how much I dig.
Then, what if I told you I'm not quite a gazelle? Would you still love me then?
Say what?
Answer! Would you love me if I was something else?
Yeah, I'd love you no matter what.
Get on your knees and swear it!
I swear it! I love you with my whole heart, and you don't know how much love fits inside this heart, ma'am! It's bigger than my brain! It's bigger than these hands, even!
The moment after this declaration seemed eternal. Ader was blushing so hard that his cheeks looked like they were about to catch fire. Sep needed a moment to stop an outrageously undignified tail wag before it started. After much hesitation, she carefully placed wet hands on Ader's shoulders, her lip trembling as she did her best not to let the slightest trace of embarrassment show.
I trust you then.
She inhaled deeply, trying to put her thoughts in order like so many times before. A few moments passed. Her eyes began glowing an unnatural blue against the darkness. Ader had always thought that he'd been imagining things when he saw her eyes gleam, but he could see it clearly now. There really was a little flame flickering behind them. He stared intently, flummoxed by the peculiar sight, until Sep turned her face away sharply. The glow vanished as her chest heaved, the blue light replaced instead by a nearly glowing red flush across her cheeks.
Don't stare at them like that. It's hard enough as it is.
Ader didn't confirm nor deny this. He merely nodded, and knowing that there was no other way he could look at her, closed his eye. Sepp curled her fingers around his shoulders, making her way towards his chest. Her palms began feeling warm as they dried up. There was a warmth that spread through Ader's body, reaching deep into his heart. He had felt this warmth many times before. It made him feel over the moon. However, the temperature kept increasing until it was no longer the comforting touch he knew so well. The heat began searing his whole skin, diving beyond the parts of him that were submerged until the water didn't even cool him anymore. It wasn't coming from her hands alone anymore, and it had gone way too far. Ader felt like he was holding a boiling pot instead of a gazelle. He tried to pull away, only for Sepp to increase her grip on his shoulders.
Not yet. Just a little longer. Please.
Her fingers felt like red-hot irons over his skin. Ader lowered his head, unable to stand the glaring light beyond his eyelid. Sunrise, perhaps? No, that was impossible. The sea would have swallowed the beach whole. Deep down, he knew exactly what the source had to be, but he didn't want to see it. He knew if he looked, he would never forget what he saw. He would have to live with a new secret for the rest of his life, and he had too many of those already. And yet he opened his eye, curious, scared, and disoriented. Just a little, just a glimpse. Just enough to see the sea on fire. All the remaining pages are completely charred. Whether it was a reflection of reality or just a warning on Sepp's part, Ader could not tell. Only a few words remained legible under the soot of the very last entry. I never needed you.
Well then. That seems okay.
So we've seen all the gazes now.
I guess so.
Ader felt a longer tremor than usual as a memory disappeared. A piece of the wall fell, followed by another, and a dozen more. A thin breach formed in her defenses, casting a single sun ray into the darkness. It wasn't nearly big enough for his hands or his head, but that was, without a doubt, the way out of her heart she had promised. He hadn't taken 2 steps toward it when he halted in place, paralyzed by a thought. Ader knew that. He already did that. Okay. Ader took a moment to reflect on the entries he'd read. If that wasn't enough, nothing would be. He had to turn the cracked wall and examined it for a while. It didn't look like anything less than an earthquake would make it tumble down. What was the closest thing to an earthquake Ader had at hand?
Going at it head first.
I'm going to tell you, there's a way to save it right now.
Ader ran straight into the wall, proving that his will could shatter rocks, bricks, and mental defenses.
Whew, I sure hope that wasn't important. All right, come on, Ader. You got this. Sepp! I think I got a good idea of what's going on with you. Can you?
Enlighten me.
Ader took a deep breath, trying to recover from his fright, or rather, using it as an excuse to order his thoughts for the last time. What was indeed so wrong with Sepp as to require his help?
Oh my goodness. There are so many choices.
I feel like scared might be, well, I don't know, it's up to you.
Scared and lonely both seem the most likely to me, but...
Scared jumped out at me.
And it's a boom.
Yeah.
She is lonely, because that's why she went after Ader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen so many sad memories in there. I saw what happened with your mom, and Hela Grab, and Miss Rochelle, and me, and you sure got a lonely life. I was a grown man when I was dragged to the fort, but you were just a fawn when you were...
Get to the point.
Right, so you spend a life locking yourself away. And then here I come saying you could trust me because I don't care who you are or what you are. Now, I said I'd stick by your side and love you no matter what. But when you showed me your true self, I got scared and ran. You always said you didn't care about me, that I was nobody because I was just one of many others, even if you liked me a little bit better. But I know that ain't true now. I hurt your feelings. Nobody couldn't do that. I want to tell you I'm sorry for what happened, but I don't think it'd be honest if I did. I wasn't ready for you then. I mean, I doubt I've been ready in 50 years either. I just don't mess with things I don't understand, you know? But that still don't mean I could just run away from them. I should have never made you feel lonely, Sepp. I think I can apologize for that at least.
I should have just let you forget me like everyone else.
Think you'd been happier if you had?
Of course not. I'm never happy.
Hey now! That's a lie, ma'am! You've been happy plenty of times. Trust me, I've seen it with this eye. And you know what? You'll be happy again. This time with someone better than me. And if Lord Snotty Snout don't make you happy, just holler at me and I'll come give him a good old-fashioned ass whooping.
Do try to stay away from the scaffold a few more days at least, please.
There we go. At least I made you laugh one last time.
Don't say it like that. I'll have many more chances to laugh at you once you win the trial.
Sepp St. Ader a look, soft and sincere, encouraging even. And though the fire that had brought them together lay dormant, this gaze spoke of something different, a friendship that had barely begun taking its first steps, promise of future understanding, perhaps. But for that future to happen, they both needed to leave the safety of the barriers they had so desperately clung to in their lives.
So, where do I go from here? How do I get out?
Oh, that's easy. I'll get you out of here.
Didn't you say you couldn't?
I just needed to keep your mind occupied long enough.
And
The world began making sense little by little. Colors, shapes, shadows, and lights began falling into place as Ader's eye got used to reality once again. But somehow, he wasn't the one looking the most stunned. The number of people in the audience had at some point tripled, and they were all staring at him agape. Elgrab's face was covered in dew. Not even Elvar could keep his jaw locked in place.
Y'all feeling all right there?
Ader directed a brief, confused look at Sepp. She smirked.
Lad, I always knew you had the givings of a poet. But to think you had such words hidden inside of you.
No.
This is impossible! How can a peasant, worse, a farmer like you, have such a vast vocabulary and nuanced understanding of the allures of the agape? Your spiel was beyond beautiful. It was absolutely splendid! But I purchased Jacif's affections legally, damn it! Her love belongs to me and no one else!
Did Sir Askadeth just casually admit he's a horn eater? Are nobles allowed to do that? You think it's a court fad or something?
Well, don't waste time looking, lads. I'm right here if you want to be fashionable.
I think the dear mob needs like a bunch of mumbling during the voice acting.
I don't care how many horns the nobles are eating. That still doesn't explain those hand marks. The witch must have charmed Sir Askadeth to distract us. She's charmed them both! Burn her! Burn the Siphi or we riot!
Angry mob.
Lacking torches, the mob set their pitchforks on fire. They began walking towards Sepp as they chanted for her death. Ada realized that there was only one way to save Sepp and get out of this ungodly mess.
True thing.
Oh, hold up. Oh, what's this? My hand. Oh, what's going on? Where am I? Oh, the voices of this rock-throwing, witch-burning, bloodlusting mob have opened my eyes at last. Oh, the spell is broken. I could think clearly at last. Patron, how could you do this to me?
What? How dare you turn on me, Yotson!
This man put his hands on me and cast a spell, and fire! Fire all over the place. And next I knew, more than a dozen moons had passed, and not a contract in sight.
That is absolutely despicable! But how can we trust this truant? We only have his word.
That's not true. Look, the merchant's got hands. Witch hands. They fit perfectly fine in the mark. See? See? And you know what else? He's red. The color of fire. What more proof can any of us need, dear jury?
Yeah, that ass Hakioff is right. The evidence is overwhelming. Why did we listen to a Siphi in the first place?
You're not getting out of here alive, son of Gartheth! You hear me? I'm going to kill you! And then I'm going to fire you! You treacherous, skilly wet-hoof! You're fired! Fired, I say! Fired!
I do like his strategy of convincing the mob to kill the guy that they've attempted to kill at least 100 times so far.
I love it.
Turn the mob on the one who is literally immortal.
Yeah. You're the only one who's getting fired here, witch!
And he's the only one who's absolutely known to be a witch, so. Zogieoff spearheaded the mob's effort to build a pyre, taking the merchant and Nader's sentence with them.
Take it from a deserter, Pops. Better lose your job than your life.
Adder, you're a sneaky little bastard. But you're a good sneaky little bastard. Thank you for helping Sep out, lad.
What in the actual name of oblivion just happened?
Listen, okay, we'll explain it to you slowly,
I told you didn't
Elbar.
understand what a public trial would entail.
First of all, Elbar, you need to stop looking for a wife. That's step one.
Get your head off your head.
Indeed! It's obvious I clearly don't. I have failed miserably to channel the fickle ire of the masses towards the neck of this lowlife. But do you know which concept I have an excellent grasp of? Executions!
Elbar, don't be a sore loser. The town has already pronounced its sentence.
Listen to him, Sir Askadath. Revenge is pointless. Keep your head. You can still be a hero in my eyes.
This is not about heroism. It's a matter of honor. You have mocked me as you please, one-eyed scoundrel. But I shall be the one to have the last laugh. Die!
Elbar fell upon Nader with all the might of his cutlass as he screamed. His blade didn't cut flesh as it descended, but metal.
Stop this assault at once, Elbar!
Oh, finally.
Nader opened his eyes, finding an unexpected hero hovering above him.
Bearbeth?
Bearbeth had diverted the course of Elbar's sword with his parrying dagger, making his half-brother hit the ground instead.
What? I mean, my lord, I'm glad to see you standing, but I don't believe you're properly awake. Why did you stop me? Isn't this the one-eyed scoundrel that dared attack you in the first place?
He did attack me, yes, but he didn't do so without reason. I was the one who started the incident. This deer is innocent. I have come to pardon him at Ina's beseech.
Ina's what now? What did you do to my boss, Four Eyes?
I merely welcomed her to my palace. Even after my hideous assault on her person, she found her way to me, seeking to share the news of your impending death. You are a truly fortunate man, Adder. Ina's loyalty may be the most remarkable of her features, but I digress. It would seem that I'd suffered a brief bout of amnesia following the blow, prompting me to disregard her at first. But her arguments were so swaying that I could not bear to remain idle another second. I had to put an end to this injustice.
Wait, how?
How her arguments convinced him?
How did she argue if she can't talk?
I mean, you know, if you hit someone hard enough, repeatedly enough, they will eventually agree with you.
I mean, I suppose. So let's see if that's the very next line.
This venison's claims were true after all? You attempted to dishonor a doe?
Well, I wouldn't say, dishonor or doe, but the point stands. Blinded by my insatiable curiosity and my need to be right, I gave in to my impulses and acted in a completely unforgivable way. I would have absolutely struck myself given the occasion. Not quite as hard, however.
I am beyond befuddled by this turn of events. What would you have me do, my liege? I have already drawn my sword dramatically at him.
Oh, let it be. Throw your sword against the pavement, or curse the skies with it. It will make no change to the fact that it was no deer's fault but my own. And perhaps his a little.
Mr. Bearbeth,
There is nothing to be said, friend. Truly, I should not have insisted so stubbornly. I still don't believe that Aina could be anything remotely alive in the traditional sense of the word, but I believe firmly that my behavior was out of place. An apology is the least I can offer.
Still pretty sure
Can you make me a knight?
Besides, Ada promised to let me explore every nook and cranny of her body if I came here to help you. Look, I have the signed note right here. Oh, I can't wait to follow up on my previous discoveries.
Ada didn't manage to take one single step forward before Illigram lifted him off the ground.
Ada, no! Think happy thoughts, but not too happy. Think about our lessons on the importance of self-determination and the dangers of infantilizing women! Right! Yeah!
Saving me was my kind of Vern. If she wanna keep promises and do something like that, then that's her business. Give me a moment, I think I'm gonna throw up.
Ada tumbled away toward a discreet corner, holding his hands over his whole face. Elbar did much the same, but in the opposite direction. Illigram followed suit to make sure he didn't change his mind.
Oh, and speaking of discoveries, hello, dear. What's a specimen like you doing here?
Seb's tail sprung up in horror as Barabiz began walking circles around her.
Lord Askatav, it's an honor to meet you again. Perhaps your memory is a little fuzzy after the incident. We already met some moons ago, remember?
Oh, that is absolutely preposterous. Concussions rarely affect long-term memory, and this is far from the worst blow I have received. You must be mistaking me for some other hornless deer. I assure you, I would not forget a frame like yours quite so easily. I had read about large gazelles during the heyday of Besaxarat, when food was abundant and the vast majority of tasks were carried out by golems. But I never thought I'd get to see an overweight Bahan with my own eyes. Ah, what a delightfully quaint sight. You could even pass for a doe.
He's gonna get
and
hit
then
again,
he gained another concussion.
I admit that you do look somewhat familiar, though. Ah, I see. You must be Elbar's kitchen maid, correct? Oh, I understand now. Someone's been sneaking into their master's pantry.
Everyone left in the plaza turned around upon hearing the slap. Everyone except for Barabiz, who lay unconscious on the ground once more. Sep just stood there, her hand still midair. Still held midair.
Jasif! What is the meaning of this?
Sir Askadath, this is not what it looks like. It wasn't me, it was... Adder! What did you do?
Say what? Don't look at me! I was just puking my guts out over here!
Inside my mind, you walking pile of servine dung! What did you do to me?
Oh, well, I just, I had to make my way out somehow. I saw this wall and it was about to fall, so I just gave a little push and let me guess, that was your patience? Am I right? Boy, oh boy, do I got a good eye for these things or what? This is why we don't mess with people's minds.
Arson son of Kerfoth. I would strangle you with my own hands if I wasn't so convinced that your brain hasn't received any oxygen in a decade.
Babe, how could you do this to me? I was willing to forgive your bizarre infatuation with this rube. I could have forgiven this offense you cast upon my house, but how dare you lie so brazenly, woman? I saw you slap my brother with my own eyes.
But I didn't want to do that. I mean, I did, but there's a perfectly sound and valid explanation for this.
Tell you later!
Adder, no! I have to...
Betrayal! A knife upon my heart and soul! This treachery shall not stand, Jasif! Guards! Fetch them!
A marabunta of guards threw itself over the runaway couple at Elbar's command. Griffin them outran the rest quite easily, leaving Ada and Seth completely flanked, but not yet stopped. These guards that moved with feet light as a wind kept showing up where Ada least expected them, herding the two into one of the many alleyways that surrounded the bazaar. And then they ran faster yet, forming a wall blocking the entrance to the only escape path left. Ada didn't dare break his run as he approached the spear wall. Surrounded from every angle and with a dozen guards chasing him, he could only run forward. But he didn't get impaled. The guard line in front of him separated momentaneously into two groups, letting them pass into the alley completely unharmed. One of the spearmen yelled something as Ada and Seth crossed the line, something that was definitely not Cyrnar. They regrouped in a second, closing the entrance to the alley before the rest of the guards crashed against them like a wave of helmets and spears.
Did they just...
Ada couldn't finish the sentence, for he never learned from his worst flaw. He forgot to look ahead, until he ran headfirst into a wall, one he couldn't break with his head. One made of fur, armor, and gleaming eyes.
Boss?
The weather's changed a lot while you weren't looking, puppy eyes. I'm your boss now.
What?
What?
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Yep.
Cliffhanger.
Oh my god.
The wolves were taking over the town slowly while everyone was at the execution.
I wasn't expecting it to be so sudden.
Abrupt. Okay.
Oh yeah, her ear has always been like that. I just never noticed before. Stay hydrated, kids. Uh-oh.
Oh, let's see. Oh, and it was Maxie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's. I mean, it's a lot of complex lines, though. This is fantastic.
Nice.
Well. Oh, and we got the patrons. I'm probably going to join this Patreon sooner or later. Oh, made with Renpy.
There it is. I do know that Renpy does have some coding stuff that you can do with it, so.
Made with new. There were no news involved in this. They were all deer and gazelles, and apparently we missed a goat in chapter 2. Oh yeah, and that whole thing about Seth going to prison, that was all in an alternate path of chapter 2 as well. Apparently chapter 2 has a lot of different branching paths in it.
Huh.
God. Yeah,
but all roads lead to that trial.
A man being burned for being a witch.
Typical Tuesday, am I right?
Hell, I want to be burned as a witch. Aw.
Well, you know what? There's still time, GC. You're young yet.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Okay.
So, yeah. What'd you say, Jonas?
I said, let them be nightmares.
Let them be